What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the 1993 film Skinner. So this movie centers around Dennis Skinner, and he's a serial killer who moves to a new town and he rents a room from this couple. For the most part, he's living a relatively normal life. He's, staying at the house. He's got a job as a custodian. But in his free time, one of his hobbies is, finding sex workers, killing them, and skinning them. And he's just out here getting away with it. He's a little bit weird, but people are just like, that's just him. He's just a little bit weird. It's all good. He's a little off, but he's an all right guy. So yeah, he's just getting away with it, and he keeps getting away with it, but one of his former victims that got away, she is pursuing him. She's, tracking him down, trying to kill him and end his reign of terror. So that's the basic plot. Just jumping into my thoughts, I thought this movie was pretty darn good. This was a first time watch for me. I watched this one video on YouTube from the channel Bloodbath and Beyond, and it was called 5 Obscure Horror Movies from the 90s on Tubi. And I watched that video quite a while ago, and I watched one of the other movies on there. I believe it was called Masked Mutilator. That movie was pretty cool. But anyways, like most of the movies that were included in that video seemed pretty interesting. So this has been on my list on Tubi for the longest time. It's got some notable actors in it. Ted Raimi plays, Dennis Skinner, like the main killer. So I'm like, oh, it's got some familiar faces. It looks kind of interesting. I gotta check it out eventually. And yeah, I checked it out, and I thought it was pretty darn good. Sometimes when you're looking into the super obscure movies, you pay dearly. Some of these movies absolutely suck, but yeah, I was like very pleasantly surprised with this. It was cool. It was kind of different. It's not really like a straight up slasher. It's more of a, you could say like a thriller, and it's really, getting into the mind of a killer. But yeah, it had some style. It was very sleazy, and yeah, it was very suspenseful. So yeah, I thought this was pretty darn good movie. So I was happy to check it out. So there you go. Jumping into my first point, I want to talk about the character Dennis Skinner. He was a super interesting character. I thought Ted Raimi did a phenomenal job playing the killer. Like it was perfect because, like I said in my plot summary, Dennis Skinner, for the most part, he's like a functioning member of society. He's able to keep a job. He lives at this house, and for the most part, he's pretty normal, but he has quite a few quirks, and people just pass it off as, oh, he's a little weird. I like that balance where he's normal enough, but he's off. I feel like that's like a thing with like a lot of real serial killers. They're still, it's not like they're completely antisocial. Like they have to be able to function in society somewhat, but like there's something off with them. He had this whole fascination with water. Like he was always like hanging out. He would just be posted up by the water. Like he'd be posted up at the beach, posted up at at little streams and stuff, and it would just randomly cut to just him in at a stream. So something like this movie was like super stylish. Like it would just randomly cut. Like it seemed like it was like a foreign movie or something. It was kind of had like a weird style, but I thought it was interesting. But yeah, he has this fascination with water. Like he's at the house, he's always just like just completely wasting water. And I think the one woman who lives there like calls him out. She's like, "Yo, you know that costs money." But yeah, he's always just like messing with the water faucet, just like staring at glasses of water. And he like at one point he's messing with the water and he's like talking about, "Oh, it fascinates me," and then he just chugs the water and spills it all over him in front of this like girl who lives there, and she's just looking at him like, are you nuts?" And he's kind of like weird at work too. Like for the most part, he's, you know, pretty conversational. He's talking to people. He's pretty unsuspecting. But then he'll just be like smiling for no reason. Like nobody smiles for no reason. Yeah, I don't care how happy you are. That's freaky. And this one guy who works there calls him out, and he's like, "Man, I knew all these people at the mental hospital. They would just smile for no reason." And he calls him out, and they get into this whole argument. So I like that balance where, for the most part, he's, you know, an everyday normal dude, but there's just these little quirks and there's this little stuff off about him, and like as the movie progresses, like he just goes nuts. Like you get to see him just go absolutely crazy. And there's kind of like that whole juxtaposition with his character where he's this really quiet, shy, polite guy, but then once he's doing his killing, he just turns into this totally different person, and that's like his stage. That's like really him, where he comes alive when he's killing. And yeah, it was really interesting to just see him flip like that. So yeah, I thought Ted Raimi did an excellent job, and I thought the character Dennis Skinner was just an interesting character. So yeah, so I think I mentioned this earlier. This movie, I don't know if you could really classify it as a slasher. It's not super gory. Like he'll kill people, and you'll just see like a stylized cut of him slashing someone, like cutting their skin a little bit, and then it cuts to something else. Like you don't really see him, you know, totally butchering these people. But then later on in the movie, it gets like extremely gory. There's this whole scene where he's like this is like like one of the coolest scenes in the movie. It's all this neon lighting, and this scene is, if you look up the trailer, they just use this scene for the trailer. So it's like this stylized scene with all this neon lighting, and he's like chopping up this woman, skinning her, and he's talking about like his origins and how he got into it. Basically, his dad like skinned his mom after she passed away, and he like ripped off his mom's face and wore it when he was like 6 years old, so it like screwed him up. And yeah, he's just telling that whole story while he's skinning this girl, and he like rips her face off. That was like a super disturbing scene, and I just really liked the look of it. Like with all like the neon lighting and everything, and the practical effects were pretty good. And then shortly after that, it just gets crazier and crazier, where that coworker that he was fighting with, he skins him, and he's just like walking around wearing his skin, pursuing other sex workers. And it's so like crazy seeing him you know, like creep back into his house late at night. Like his housemates will be sleeping or whatever, and like he'll just be creeping up the stairs wearing like a full skin suit, like a full human skin suit, trying to you know, not get caught. So it's so suspenseful, just like when he's pursuing victims, but also just when he, like whenever he goes back to this house and he's just trying not to get caught, because he's just coming through with the full skin suit on. So yeah, I thought even though like this movie started out slow, it didn't start out slow in a bad way. It was like a nice build up, and then yeah, it did get pretty darn crazy. So yeah, it does get like pretty gory later on. So I was happy with that. And yeah, talking about the homeowners. I don't know why the heck they agreed to, you know, like take this guy in as a roommate. Like the woman who owned the house, she was desperate. Like I guess they didn't have a lot of applicants, and they were hard up for money. So she's just like, oh, a human wants to rent my apartment. They seem kind of normal. Like let me here you go right away. Like you got the room. Like she just gave him the room right away. Like this, like. Are you gonna check his credit? Are you gonna he didn't even have a job? How do you even know he has money? Like, did you get money up front? I don't know. Like, I don't know what the heck people are doing. But yeah, like she was just so unsuspecting, and I I just thought it was crazy how her and her husband, they're talking about, oh, we don't have money, we gotta rent out our room, and only one of them is working. The husband works, he's a trucker, and he's gone all the time, and this woman, she's just like hanging out all day. Like, instead of getting some creepy, crusty stranger to live in your house, just get a jobby. Like, just get a part-time job. Start trapping. Like, do something. Start a garage sale. Like, why would you just have some strange freak live in your house? And it's not like she had like kids that she was taking care of. Like, of course, taking care of a house, that's a lot of work. But like, I don't want some strange freak living in my house. Like, I'll do anything before I do that. So it's like, why don't you just get a jobby job? I don't know. So yeah, that was weird. And then just another random observation that I have is there's this one instance where he's meeting up with this sex worker, and she takes him into her house, and he like ties her up and everything, and I like right there I'm like, whoa, like what the heck? So she's talking about, okay, you gotta pay extra for kinky stuff. Like, you're just gonna let some stranger tie you up off rip? And once again, she didn't even receive the money up front. She's talking about, oh, it costs extra for the kinky stuff. Get the money first before you get tied up. Like, you could have just got tied up. Like, even if he wasn't a psycho killer, he could have just ran off. Well, why would he run off? That would, yeah, because then he wouldn't get anything out of it. It's not like he was robbing her, but like, how you just, like, if you're gonna get tied up, at least get the money first. Like, what if he just dipped out after that? Like, what if he just, did something crazy, even if it wasn't killing you? What if he did something crazy to you and then just left? Like, I didn't get that. And I'm just thinking, where was this woman's pimp? Where were the pimps at in this movie? He's like, all these sex workers, they're just out here by themselves. Like, this was the 90s. I feel like pimps were still a thing. Where are the pimps at? You're just gonna be out here by yourself. You probably run into some weirdos. Like, of course the pimp's not gonna like be there in the corner just watching, like making sure everything's all right. But they'll be in close proximity, like making sure you're all good in the hood. Like, I was just thinking, where the f are the pimps? Like, where are the pimps when you need them? Like, all these sex workers, they were just out and about by themselves. Like, that's a dangerous gig, yo. That's a dangerous business. Like, if you're out here doing all that, you gotta have some protection. So, yeah, I don't know. These ladies, they needed some pimps. I don't know what the heck they were doing. They were being very irresponsible. So just find like a nice pimp, like Gator from what was that movie with Will Ferrell and what's his name, Mark Wahlberg. What was that other guys? I think. Yeah, get Gator to be your pimp. Get a nice pimp. Get you probably find one. There's probably one nice one out there. But yeah, anyways, those were just some random thoughts I had. But overall, I thought this was a really cool movie. Very suspenseful. It does get pretty gory later on. there were not really any parts that really dragged for me. I thought Ted Raimi was great as the killer. Just overall, solid horror movie. So, this one is a very obscure movie. Not a lot of people know about it. And, it's free on Tubi right now. So if you have Tubi and, you're interested in horror movies, I think, this is not a bad one to check out. So definitely give this one a shot. So yeah, that's been my review. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.